Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
First of all, I want to acknowledge and thank Ms. Stephanie Rollins Blake for being a profound visionary, woman of integrity and commitment to public service, who's made phenomenal progress, not just in Baltimore, Maryland, but now has a reputation that extends from the Atlantic to the Pacific. Let's give her another round of applause. Thank you so much. And she told me she has a daughter who loves Thurmond College, and I told her it's time for her just to move on down to DeKalb. How about that? Don't get down here in DeKalb County, Georgia. Thank you so much for coming out today. I first want to thank you all and express my appreciation, particularly to DeKalb County residents, for honoring me, Dr. Pritchard, with the opportunity to serve as your CEO. I thank you and I appreciate you, and I'm going to do everything I can to not let you down. And God bless you for that. Thank you. Also, before I go on, you see me, but nothing happens in a major campaign without dedicated staff, men and women who work day in and day out, sometimes 24/7, to get the word out, to engage the community, and to help people better understand the positive aspects of our candidate, who is Mike Bloomberg. But I want Lance and Howard and Carla and Darius, y'all raise your hand. Let's give them a round of applause. All the staff, thank you so much. And Lance and State Director, we really do appreciate you, but I'm here for one purpose. And I kind of like this I like Mike thing. I don't know why. It got a ring to it. I don't know, but I'm here today because I have officially announced my support for the next president of the United States of America, Mike Bloomberg. And it was not a decision that came easily. I spoke on multiple occasions with the other candidates, by the way. And I've also talked to staff here in Georgia at the national level. I've had multiple conversations about them because this is the most important election in the history of these United States of America. And let me tell you why it's so important, because we got to finish a trial that's already started. And contrary to what the media may have told you, a trial that is not yet ended. The House of Representatives voted to impeach. The Senate voted to acquit. In my mind, that's 1-1. That's a tie. On the first Tuesday in November, you gonna cast the final vote. That's when the final of the trial ends. It's in the hands of the people. I'm supporting Mike Bloomberg. And I'm supporting him for multiple reasons, but let me talk real specific about it. And I think the mayor alluded to it, but I want to come back to it because it's important. One of my driving principles of service is that you don't necessarily listen to what politicians promise you they will do. You just don't do that. Because it's easy enough to make a promise. It's a whole other thing to keep it. So rather than listening to the promises and the platform, what you really need to do is look at the record. And when I look at the record of leadership, of service, of management, of having just fact, getting it done, there is no one on the Democrat or Republican side that can match the record of accomplishment of Mike Bloomberg. And that is why I am endorsing him. What he did in one of the most diverse, most complicated cities in the world, he made amazing progress in terms of business investment, particularly in communities of color. Increased minority business investment by more than 70% during his administration. He's committed to building wealth, not just fighting poverty, but building wealth in the black community. That's a totally different game, isn't it? Everybody may want to fight poverty, but this man has a strategy and a record of building wealth in our community. And it's one thing for somebody to tell you that they're gonna show you how to make some money, There's a whole other thing for somebody who actually made a lot of money to take you. Am I right?
You're right.
I mean, that all right, maybe this is the wrong church. I gotta go there. As a local elected official, the day-to-day operation of government is critical. And I've talked to scores and scores of New York City residents. A lady last night at the Georgia Legislative Black Caucus Bank, she said, "Oh, I'm from New York." So let me tell you something. While he was mayor, I felt safe walking the streets of New York City. When you're in a local jurisdiction, the number one issue is keeping your citizens and your constituents safe. He did it. He invested in public schools as a former school superintendent here in DeKalb County, Georgia. Children represent 20% of our population, but they are 100% of our future. We will have a president who understands the value of investing in our current and future generations of children. Is he perfect? No. But I don't know a politician who is perfect. But I know one who ain't nowhere near perfect. That's the one we got to get out of office. Am I right?
Yeah, right.
And so finally, this decision I made, and typically I've been in campaigns where it was an emotional decision. But this was not just an emotional decision. This was a pragmatic, thought out, strategic decision. The National Republican Party has raised an unprecedented amount of money preparing for the November election. All our nominees are raising money, but as quick as they raise it, what are they doing? They're spending it. The opposition is raising it and they're banking it. They have one of the most sophisticated internet, electronic resource apparatus in place. This will be an election of your lifetime. We have to be prepared, and the mayor said something, and that's the second reason I voted, I chose him. He said something, and I've never heard it. I mean, I couldn't even hardly get my mind around it. He said, "Look, I'm gonna win. I will win the nomination, but if I don't, I'll spend $1 billion to help the nominee get elected and defeat Donald Trump." Think about that. There's integrity. That's a level of commitment to public service. And that's a love for these United States of America that is unprecedented. I'm on board. I'm in with Mike. I like him because his record. I also like him because we see eye to eye on a lot of things. Come on. And you know, I've been waiting for Mike to be up there on the stage with old Bully Trump. Right? Because you know, in life growing up, and this is what I'm going to say as we campaign around Georgia, you know, he likes to bully people, doesn't he? He's a consummate bully on the internet and in person, right? And all of us somewhere in life have had to what? Deal with a what? Yeah. A bully. And maybe you didn't get a chance to deal with that bully growing up. But if you had somebody bully you because of the way your hair looked, or the color of your skin, because you worked so hard, too tall, or you weighed too much, or you didn't look like they wanted you to look. You remember people like that? Or you didn't have the clothes that other kids had, and they bullied you and they made fun at you and they said ugly things about you. This is your chance to get even with every bully you ever confronted. And the one thing my mama taught me is that there will come a time when you're going to have to stand up to who? The bully. And so on the first Tuesday in November 2020, I want you to stand up, I want you to walk, and I want you to vote. And I want you to vote against not just Trump, but every person who's ever tried to bully you. who's ever tried to bully your children, who's ever tried to bully your brothers and sisters, because that's what he is. We're gonna shut down and end the bullying of the American people. Yeah, I like Mike. And I want little Mike to take on old Trump. And old Mike, it ain't so much how tall he is. The taller they are, the harder they fall. Thank y'all so much for being out there.